Jimmy Kimmel, man, a lot is going on. Um, People that are fans of Jimmy Kimmel are upset. People that are not fans of Jimmy Kimmel are rejoicing right now. But let's take a look, man. In a shocking turn of events that's sending shockwaves through Hollywood, ABC has indefinitely suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live following the host's controversial remarks about the tragic assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Kimmel's comments, which drew sharp criticism from FCC Chair Brendan Carr for being insensitive and potentially inflammatory, prompted threats of regulatory action against Disney owned ABC, leading to the network pulling the plug on the long running show. President Trump celebrated the move on Truth Social, calling it great news for America and slamming Kimmel's ratings, while Democrats and free speech advocates decry it is a blatant censorship and an abuse of power. Without further ado, let's get into it, man. What's going on with y'all boy, Jimmy Kimmel?
Developing news this afternoon, and award-winning talk show host Jimmy Kimmel has been axed indefinitely.
Damn.
America's ABC network pulling the plug after the comedian made remarks about the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. It makes him the second late-night star in the US to be taken off air just over the past 2 months. US correspondent Rob Scott has this story.
Jimmy Kimmel has been hosting his late-night show here in the heart of Hollywood for more than 2 decades. He is one of the highest-paid hosts on American television. But he has been yanked off air indefinitely by the ABC for comments he made on his show 2 nights ago about the man charged over conservative activist Charlie Kirk's murder. Now, during his monologue, Kimmel suggested that Tyler Robinson was part of the MAGA world, a pro-Trump Republican.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Those comments from the comedian came after authorities said that Robinson held a leftist ideology. And the decision today by the ABC to pull the show comes after the operator of a number of ABC-affiliated stations announced it wouldn't air the program for the foreseeable future, strongly objecting to Kimmel's comments. And earlier today, the Trump-appointed chair of the Federal Communications Commission went on a right-wing podcast to condemn Kimmel, accusing the comedian of lying to the public about what had happened and threatening to take action, suggesting that the commission could revoke ABC affiliate licenses.
You know, when you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. And so I think you see some lashing out from people like Kimmel, who are frankly talentless and are looking for ways to get attention.
We haven't heard directly from Jimmy Kimmel yet, but we have heard from Donald Trump, who has made no secret of the fact that he is not a fan of the late-night comedian. He took to his social media platform a couple of hours ago to say that Jimmy Kimmel is someone with zero talent and that him being yanked off air was great news for America.
Man, Donald Trump is never going to miss out on a moment to dunk on your ass, man. He is never gonna miss out on a moment to throw shade at you, man. Donald Trump, man. Man, I think he's the funniest president I've ever had, man. Donald Trump is hilarious. So, Jimmy Kimmel, freedom of speech, of course, but freedom of consequences, unfortunately, in this case, no. So let's take a look at President Trump's response to Jimmy Kimmel, man.
And wrote Trump himself on his Truth Social platform, "It's great news for America. Congratulations to ABC," he wrote, "for finally having the courage to do what had to be done." Then encouraging the cancellations of other late-night talk shows as well. As for Kimmel, said CNN media commentator Brian Stelter,
Trump vowed retribution on the campaign trail, and he's getting it. He's getting it against entertainers and comedians.
Let's go back here, man. I want to go back to right here. President Trump never misses a moment, man. He never misses a moment to dump on somebody, man. Funniest president of my lifetime for sure. This is from Donald J. Trump. Great news for America. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert. If that's possible, that leaves Jimmy and Seth two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do an NBC. President DJT is in the house, man. He over there talking that stuff, man. President Trump, he gonna talk. He gonna, he gonna he gonna spit fire, man. This is hilarious. I'm sorry, man. He said Jimmy Kimmel has no talent. And what did y'all expect? What did y'all expect, man? Look, President Trump came into his first presidency. I'm sure he did not know what to expect. And you guys made President Trump the way that he is right now. And he ain't playing no games. He's not playing any games, and he will not miss an opportunity to jump all over you. If you messing up, Jimmy Kimmel, you slipping. President Trump gonna get on you, man. He go, he go, he definitely gonna take his shots at you, man. President Trump is not shy. He gonna talk bad about you, and he talked bad about zero talent Jimmy Kimmel. But full disclosure, man, we were big fans of Jimmy Kimmel back in the day, and this is before I was a political supporter of Donald Trump. I was an indoctrinated Democrat, really didn't have much interest in politics. And over the last few years, I've gained more and more interest in politics, and now I'm immersed in it. And back in the day, all the brothers loved Trump. He's in every rap song, man. So this is pre-President Donald Trump, right? And every rap song, he's celebrated, man. He's a public figure. Everybody wanted to be a billionaire. The Apprentice. Donald Trump was a man. And then when he became president, all the disparaging things that they said about him, man, their character assassinated him. And if you if you just take a look at it, if you just say, wait a minute, let me stop and take a look at it, you'll see that these people were on him, man. What made us not fans of Jimmy Kimmel anymore? I should say not fans because we love Jimmy Kimmel, we love Guillermo, Uncle Frank, man, rest in peace, Aunt Tippy, the whole show. I thought it was dope back in the day, but I saw he was increasingly talking about politics and specifically Trump all the time. And we're just like, man, look, if I'm going to a ball game, I don't want to hear a bunch of political rhetoric. And that's the way that I thought back then. And the Jimmy Kimmel show for us, it was a left-wing political tool under the guise of Hollywood entertainment show, talk show, right? The people in charge, man, the ones that write your check, they said, no, we don't want any of this smoke. It is freedom of speech, but not freedom of consequence. And you have to understand, this is his employer. Your rhetoric is irresponsible, and we don't want to deal with it anymore. You got to go. Then you got to go, and they have the right to do it. Check your employee handbook, man. You guys sit up here and think that you could be absolved of any of the irresponsible rhetoric that you spew on social media or wherever. Nope. You got CNN, the great Scott Jennings over there, of course, always telling the truth, and then you got the liars over there at CNN. So let's listen in.
Well, I think it's similar to the debate we've had this week beyond just this topic to people who said horrific, awful things after the assassination of Charlie Kirk last week. Now, I think it's awful, but they have a right to say that. But I also think employers have a right to say, not just in this instance, but in so many others we documented, if you say something that's inconsistent with the principles of our organization, be it a college, a business, a nonprofit, we don't want you on
our payroll. But you continue to talk about how it's a business decision, but the reality is that whether it is a threat, whether it is Donald Trump also threatening to go after organizations just because they have different views than him, he is threatening to go after the far left. All of these aren't business decisions. This is the federal government that is using their power in order to silence the media and people that disagree with them.
Donald Trump is going after media that has lied on him, and he's taking them to court, and he's winning. They are disingenuous and intentional with the lies that they disseminate. So if he's winning in court and he's winning millions and millions of dollars, I do it too. I sue the hell out these people, man. What they are doing is they are damaging his reputation. They're defaming him, and if they are doing that, they should be sued.
You read one of the tweets, but here's what he said on August 6th after Colbert was taken off the air or his show was canceled. Here's what he said in terms of his order of operations here. Let's play the soundbite from Trump.
Fallon has no talent. Kimmel has no talent. They're next. They're going to be going. I hear they're going to be going. I don't know, but I would imagine because they get, Colbert has better ratings than Kimmel or Fallon.
Okay, let's.
She cut that short. They cut that short. He did talk about ratings. And the fact that Colbert had better ratings than Jimmy Kimmel, he was saying, well, quite naturally, if you're going to let Colbert go, y'all should look into letting Jimmy Kimmel go. And Jimmy Kimmel has attacked President Trump for years, just consistent with his attacks on President Trump. So now y'all want to be sensitive now? You guys want to be indignant now? Come on, man. President Trump has endured a lot of BS. Hey, man, they poked the sleeping bear, man. Y'all believe President John Trump alone?
Just take a moment and let's pretend that Donald Trump is not the president. Let's pretend that it's somebody else. And that person,
not Joe Biden or Kamala,
says, I don't like this person, I don't like that person. They're going to be gone next because I want them gone. I think the question that we have to ask ourselves in this moment is, if you took the partisanship out of it right now, would you be comfortable with a president of the United States saying to any private corporation, television network, cable broadcast, that this is how they have to program their TV in terms of who is on and who is not?
I don't have a problem with the president expressing an opinion about people who express opinions about him. And regarding Kimmel, whether he was going to address it or not, I read that he was going to address it, but that he wasn't going to apologize, which I am sure was going to make Sinclair and Nexstar go crazy.
But what about Trump using the government to enforce it? Because it's not just his words. He is also using the government to enforce his words.
Well, it is your opinion that they were threatening them. It is my opinion that they had a larger decision to make regarding.
That's conjecture. Stop it.
Their business interests.
Twice now. It is not my opinion that Brendan Carr said, you can either do this or I will do that. That's what he said. That's not my opinion. That's a fact.
Yeah, but you're saying that Donald Trump is pushing the buttons, and he's not, man. These people see that this is bad business. For him to talk about a patriot like Charlie Kirk and try to imply that the person that assassinated Charlie Kirk was MAGA, this is the propaganda that Jimmy Kimmel was pushing with that statement.
Look, my view is all these companies have business decisions to make that are based on more than just what a singular person said in an interview. They've got affiliates to deal with. They've got advertisers to deal with. I promise you that when Jimmy Kimmel does what he does.
Why do you always got to interrupt? Abby Phillips always got to look, man. People tune into this show for Scott Jennings. Prove me wrong.
See into it.
Well, look, he gave an interview. I can't tell you that if I were the head of the FCC, I would have given that interview. It sounded a little over the top to me, but I still believe that what's going on here has more to do with their business than it does with the government.
Then why won't you guys denounce it? That's the thing. Why won't you say what the FCC, what they did is wrong? I mean, I think that's the problem. It was a threat from the administration, and I understand the business dealing 100%. Just like the first ABC settlement, I truly believe that they were looking at it. It was a business deal. It was a business decision there, and that's why they moved forward with that. But when it comes to an actual threat from the federal government, that's wrong. It is wrong for our government to threaten these organizations when they have the power to approve mergers.
They didn't have to do this. They looked at all of the factors and said, okay, it's time for us to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air. I think there's more going on than just Brendan Carr's interview. All the time the president criticizes media outlets who then go out and continue to do what he hates it.
Then he sues them
for $15 billion.
And what's going to happen? Nothing. What's going to happen?
This is an attempt to intimidate the New York Times. And you've heard me on this show. I'm not crazy about the New York Times coverage right now.
I mean, listen.
But they're trying to intimidate them. The same thing with ABC. The same thing with CBS. This is the power of the government brought down on speech, on the press.
Maybe it's just the power of someone in the government forcing a little self-reflection in these media companies for what they've been doing and the way they've been operating.
Free speech or not?
Of course I do.
I think that they made a smart business decision. What's going on right now? They're very upset, and this whole Charlie Kirk situation has people very upset. Whether you are pro Charlie Kirk or you have great disdain for Charlie Kirk, but either way, it has galvanized people, and people are emotional about this. Whether you love them or hate them, the fans of Jimmy Kimmel are reacting, man. Let's take a look.
I'm devastated. I'm really upset. I'm really upset. This is free speech.
I mean, this is something that happens in, Russia and North Korea and China and state-run TVs, stuff. So it was very suspicious that something was going on, but we didn't know what it was. So after around 3:30, someone just came outside and he said guys, we're really sorry for today, but the show is canceled. You need to leave.
I don't know exactly what he said. I'm sad to hear that the show has been canceled. I think if anybody does anything, whether it's in television, radio, media, or any industry that's morally reprehensible, they should be reprimanded and there should be consequences.
Indefinitely suspended, and people have their opinions on it. Subjective, right? So let's take a look at David Portnoy, man. He was on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Now, I think I have a unique take on this because I run a fairly large media company. I also do media. So you're seeing a lot of people right now, and I tweeted about it right away, being like, cancel culture, the right is so hypocritical, they're so anti-cancel culture, and now they want cancel culture. To me, this is not cancel culture at all. What cancel culture is when you don't like somebody, say me, and then you're like, we want to get rid of Dave. So we're going to comb through everything Dave has said for the past 20 years, and we're going to find things we don't like that don't fit in this time period or whatever. Not just me, anybody. But that's cancel culture. Digging through old tweets, videos, things said to get rid of a person. Your goal going in, it's like, I'm going to get rid of this person I don't like, and I'm going to dig up everything that this person has done their entire life and find some smoking guns and put pressure on people to get rid of them. What happened to Kimmel, I would say, is consequences for your actions in real time, statements in real time. He made jokes that people didn't like. He tried to say that the assassin was part of the far-right magnet. He's not. And then Sinclair Communications was like, this is garbage. Our people that we, in our markets, they don't want to see this. We're preemptively pulling them off the air, kind of forced ABC's hand. Now, this is not a free speech issue to me. I've always said to our employees, listen, you guys can say whatever you want on your personals. You can do this, but your speech has consequences. If people start putting pressure on me because you're saying things that they don't like, this is a capitalist market. When the juice isn't worth the squeeze, decisions have to be made. And for Kimmel, his ratings are down. And by the way, I'm not I hated Colbert. I found him annoying to watch. Kimmel I don't watch, but, I take it or leave it. But his ratings are clearly down. He's making a ton of money. He's creating clearly headaches for ABC, and the affiliate then drops him. To me, this is like a business. He's not a journalist. This isn't freedom of the press. He's not reporting, digging. He's telling jokes. He's a comedian. He works for somebody else. Whenever you work for a company or work for somebody else and you are making statements or doing things that are creating headaches for the people up top, you're forced with a decision. What do? Here they decided the easiest move, ABC, Disney, was to suspend him.
Living in a capitalist society, and this was a business move. So, once again, freedom of speech, but not freedom of consequence. And this is the consequence. President Trump was a victim of this as well. I mean, he had a social media platform of millions and millions of people taken away from him. And you had a situation with Facebook where they were suppressing anything that had pro-Republican rhetoric. Um, and according to and that is according to Mark Zuckerberg himself.